All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachach. I want to give double honors unto the apostle, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Blessing and salutation unto the elect of Yasha Allah, as well as the hopeful elect, the Akim out there enduring his truth across the four corners of the earth, prophesying and preaching through the spirit of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, in truth and sincerity, as well as the men and women that follow and those who might look like the other nations but are of the nation of Israel on your father's side by blood. And I wanted to get into a quick lesson conversation that kind of came up between me and the Akim here in Nebraska. And, pretty much being prudent, and upon hearing the word prudence, I always think about these few precepts here in Sirach 34, because it speaks about a man that traveleth, and having experience, and by that experience gaining prudence. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump straight into it. This is Sirach 34:9. It says, "A man that hath traveled knoweth many things, and he that hath much experience will declare wisdom." Because a man that traveleth, he's journeying, right? And I do want to we'll get both. So when you go into travel, it says make a journey, go from place to place, to struggle, toil, or labor, because it goes back to what word? Travail, right? Which travail means hard labor, physical toil, work, labor, toil, suffering, or painful effort. Now, when you're thinking about it, what if you're traveling, right? Whether you're on foot, predominantly they were in those days, or you got wheels. Things can happen, you know. Let's say you on foot, you could come across a certain type of animal. All right, you can come across quicksand. If you want to put that out there, you can come across a road, a shaky bridge, with string that look like it can snap, and based upon those things, you would know by the experience you have within those, you would know what to do. Now the thing is, at that moment, you wouldn't know what to do. But what do you have to do? You got to figure it out. All right, that's the painful effort. That's the suffering. That's the work. That's the labor. That's the toil. Okay, and that's what we have to do within this truth. We can't just go through life like a robot. There's a reason why the term sheeple is out there, because they're just going through life as sheeple. They don't care. They not paying attention to anything. They just going, man. All right. How are you expecting to get experience and get understanding and gain wisdom and get prudence if you're just going through life on autopilot? All right. But you got to figure things out. And the Lord gives us the guidelines, so to speak, the scriptures. Okay? He gives us the scriptures. You get into certain situations and you they're in the scriptures, man. Okay? Tells you even who and who not to counsel with. If you know what I'm saying, if you don't really know, hey, go to a brother. Hey, man, this going on, that going on. That brother will give you sound advice. All right? Getting back into the precept, I'm going to read that one again. Sirach 34:9. It says, "A man that hath traveled knoweth many things, or labored, all right, suffered painfully, effort, painful effort, or that suffered for something. He knoweth many things, right? Changing oil or something. All right. It's small up under there. All right. Instead of getting a jack, hey, that small jack, it went out on you last time. Well, now you know to get a bigger jack. Get you a 2-ton or a 3-ton jack. So when you pump that mug up, them hydraulics gonna hold it up. You get a bigger car, you get a bigger jack. Like I used to have a small jack. I got a truck now. That small, that ain't do nothing. You You got, if you're doing an oil change, you also got the ramp. You know, you can bring it up on the ramp a little bit. All right. Certain things of that. But when you first get there or you see somebody, all you know is what, you know, what they showed you or what you didn't know at all, what you had to figure out, you know. It says, and he that hath much experience will declare wisdom. Now let's look into experience real quick. Okay. I hate spelling this word. I'm gonna be honest. It says experience, you know, observation as a source of knowledge, actual observation, an event which has affected one, you know. So you can get a little experience by watching somebody do something. All right. But all in all, it breaks down to what coming right here, expiry, to try or test, and X meaning out. So you're trying it out. That's why you have things where they say hands on, you know, they'll let you learn hands on, meaning you're putting your hands on it, you're doing it, you're trying it out, right? You get to see how it feel. I remember I had this one job in production, and they manufacture like lids and containers. Um, Now, when it comes to the lids, everybody can't do the lids because, man, hey, I love that job. That was a pretty dope job because of it was just I fucked it up, you know, but it was a cool job. But that, hey, call out Yabashim outside. I gained experience. You know, I travailed in that place, you know, because what I experienced at that job, I didn't take to my next job, you know, because I pretty much caused myself to lose that job. I was like, well, now my next one, you know, I'm going to make sure I'm more punctual, you know, make sure I don't point out, you know, take it a little bit more serious, but it comes by experience. You know, that was my first full-time gig from coming from part-time. I'm getting all this bread and it's like, y'all need me and all of that. And boom, messed it up, you know. But during orientation, they pretty much test out who can pick up the lids and everything. And I remember when I went over, because it's spinning on two wheels, so it's coming down at a certain speed. So all of these lids are spinning and they're all together or a little bit separate. And you got to bring them together without smashing and crashing them. Because if you put too much force on it, then it does like a deck of cards and they all just go into the air, you know. And these lids is constantly coming down. Like when you go down to the production floor, they constantly coming down. I mean, like, shit, 500, sometimes 400, you know, 300 or 400 lids per minute. You know what I'm saying? So it's coming down the line. Boom, you put them together because there was a line on there. You bring it together, get as many as you need. I think it was about 75 in each stack. Then you put it in the box. Get the next 75. And if you start to slow up, you know, there's a sensor on there and it'll switch it to the other side. But if both of those fill up, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Both of those fill up, them lids going everywhere. Now you got to cut the machine off and you got to clear it up. And then it becomes a hassle, man. You know, but all in all, things that we learn it comes by experience. And, you know, it comes with laboring in it, man. All right. And when you labor in something, you get better at it. Okay. Because it says, verse 10, he that hath no experience knoweth little. If you don't have no experience, you're going to know little about it. You know, you can watch somebody do something, but you still know little about it. I don't mean you know all the ins and the outs. All right. I can see somebody get up under there and they take the bolt off of the oil tank, you know, and then I see the oil coming out and they putting it in the pan and all of that. Okay, he grabbed that wrench and now I'm going up under there. I'm grabbing a 19, I'm grabbing a 17, I'm grabbing a 14 instead of knowing that bolt is a 15. Right? I watched him do it. I seen him grab a wrench and you know, just go up under there, but I didn't try it out for myself or ask him, hey, what size is that? You know? Because that's another thing when you're learning from somebody or something. Ask questions, man. Hey, look at AI. It's not really asking questions, but it tell you, hey, what you want to ask me, and we all been feeding it information, so to speak. All right, it says, but he that hath traveled is full of prudence, right? That foresight, prudence, being able to see before. Okay, now next time you go to change your oil, I remember last time I had a 15, so let me set that aside, separate that from the whole pile, so I ain't gotta go digging in there. Let me get my oil pan, let me get my my towels ready. All right. Last time I had 5 quarts, but I needed an extra quart, So now you know everything that you need instead of going back and forth from the store because it's your first time, But also, you can't be scared to travel, you know. You can't be scared to travel. All right. Sometimes you can ask and have help and learn, and put your hands on it. But sometimes you got to figure things out too. And that's what this truth is about through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. It's about figuring things out, man. Figuring out this life, knowing your purpose and figuring out how to get it done. Because it's at the end of the day, that equals the will of the Lord, man. All right. Verse 11, it says, when I traveled, I saw many things and I understand more than I can express. So that understanding came by what? Experience. All right. And being prudent. Okay. Being able to see ahead, not like, oh, I should have did and could have and would have did, but like, nah, like right now. All right. I know, bam, I need to be in the bed at least by midnight if I want to get a decent amount of sleep for work tomorrow. At least by midnight. That gives me an hour and a half. This is prudence. Okay. Well, if I get my food ready tonight, I can also wake up just a little bit later if I need to get a little bit more sleep, or if it's harder to get out of bed, or whatever the case. Prudence. By what? Traveling, going through it and figuring it out. All right. Because that travail and that labor don't necessarily got to be physical all the time. It can be mental as well. All right. Verse 12, it says, I was oft times in danger of death, yet I was delivered because of these things. And that's just comes by prudence. Yeah, I ain't going to that gas station no more. Every time I go down there, it's just an altercation, So now, not to go down there. It's nothing with driving an extra 5 minutes to go to a safer environment, so to speak, But another thing also is I want to get is what's that? Job 33. Yes, Job 33:15. It says, in a dream and a vision at a night, when deep sleep falleth upon men and slumberings upon the bed, then he opened the ears of men and sealeth their instruction, that he may withdraw man from his purpose and hide pride from man. So the Lord sealeth your instructions while you sleep, so he can keep you from messing up, hide you from your purpose, what you want to do. All right, he's not going to withdraw you from his purpose, his will, but your purpose, okay? And hide pride from man, keep you from getting puffed up and being prideful. This is beautiful. The Lord looks out, all right, for his remnant, It says he keepeth back his soul from the pit, keep you from, being unalived, and his life from perishing by the sword. Okay, so the Heavenly Father keeps us alive. That's why hey, send up prayers when you're leaving home. Send up prayers while you're on the road. Send up prayers when you get to your destination. The Lord, he taking in, he listening to all of that. All right. That was pretty much the point, pretty much the point. The Lord, it tells you in Proverbs, the Lord directed our steps, So that's why when the Lord is putting us through things, we can't really get too emotional. You got to understand he loveth those whom he chasten, and that he's not going to put you through anything you can't handle. Those are two things that keep me from from snapping in Babylon. And I'm not going to lie and sit here like I got it all. Hey, the shit gets hard. It gets lonely. It gets lonely. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And I cry. Nah, I ain't got no little vocals, but yeah, but it get like that because we're seeking our own salvation, all right, with fear and trembling, but we all in this together as well. But neither one of us can save each other. We can push each other to towards what we supposed to be doing to get that salvation, but we can't save one another. That's all up to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, so yeah, Lord willing, you was edified, and Lord willing, we allowed to travel to the end. No, making it to the end, if it be at the will of the Heavenly Father and through His Son. And once again, I want to give all praises unto Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. See you in the next one. Shalom.